Hi everyone. Just say hi if you can see me and hear me. If you can see me and hear me, just say hi. Very good. Okay. So I'm here for a little while, just to give a very quick introduction only. I'm here for a little while, just to give a very quick introduction only. Uh, so my name is Channa Gunawardana. So basically in SEMA has gone through a journey of changes over the period of time. So if you look at SEMA today, is very, very different to what we had seen years ago. Years ago, when we tried to teach SEMA or when we were doing exams, there were detailed accounting questions available. Sometimes in the exam paper, there's about a 20 or 25 mark one complete question where you need to prepare a set of accounts. That was SEMA some time ago. So there were a lot of hardcore management accounting included into SEMA there. Lot of hardcore management accounting included into SEMA then. Those days that was the case. Look at today, things are very, very different. All the exam papers are concentrating on not memorizing the knowledge. Earlier, there were questions asked about various different models for you to memorize. That has gone away now. It is still there for you at the operational level case study, but it is much lesser than before. And when it comes to strategic level now, there are no theories that you need to memorize except for a very little. The questions have become very, very practical today. Very, very practical questions are there. Very, very practical questions are there. Right? From the other side, hardcore accounting has gone away from SEMA. There are no detailed calculations that you need to do. To be fair, you don't need to carry even calculators for most of SEMA exams now. Detailed calculations, detailed final accounts, detailed accounting had gone away. Instead, there are questions of artificial intelligence, IoT, blockchain technology, what the cryptocurrency is. So things have changed a lot. Today, SEMA has become not a management accounting qualification. SEMA has become a business qualification today. It is no more management accounting qualification. It's no more a management accounting qualification. It has become a very, very practical business qualification today. It has become a very, very practical business qualification today. It is like a mini MBA. It is like a mini MBA. And when I said a lot of theories have gone away, look at the FLP part, where there were 9 theory subjects that we had to pass. Or we were teaching for 9 theory subjects for the people to pass. The requirement to pass 9 theory subjects, each paper was for 3 hours. Each paper was for 3 hours into 9 theory subjects have gone out of the syllabus. There are no exams for those 9 subjects now. There are no exams for those 9 subjects now. It is only a self-assessment, an assessment that you do it to yourself. Only a self-assessment, no exams. So SEMA has become very, very different. SEMA has become very, very different. We have changed ourselves. Nanaska, we have changed ourselves. Right? We started ourselves as topsemapass.com some time ago. Over the period of time, we have been changing names. Today, we call ourselves Nanaska. Our purpose has changed a lot recently, about 1 month ago. I don't know whether you have seen that on the social media or somewhere. We have launched our new purpose. Which goes as new purpose of Nanaska goes as building leaders for the world. So, building leaders for the world, what does that mean? We are no more interested only in passing a student. Of course, we'll ensure you pass, but we are here to build a leader. Not to build a professional, but to build a leader who is professionally qualified. We are here to build a leader who is professionally qualified. That is why when you come, not at operational level that much, when you come along the journey to management strategic level, when you do that, you will see we allocate a lot of time to teach the skills that are outside a qualification. We talk a lot about negotiation skills. We talk a lot about leadership skills. We talked about how do you motivate your team. We talked a lot about your life, how we can live a happy life, how we can live a happy life. All those have become very critical, very important topics. All those have become very critical, very important topics for us at Nanaska, because our purpose goes as building better leaders for the world. Building better leaders for the world. So, this is the journey that we are trying to start together. The journey that we are trying to start together is how Nanaska can help you to be a better leader. And SEMA has changed, where SEMA will give a lot of practical questions on the exam day. A lot of theories have taken out. So I'm welcoming all of you all to start the new journey with Nanaska. I'm welcoming all of you all to start the new journey with Nanaska. So Mr. Mark will take care of the operational level case study. So there are 3 case studies, as you know: operational level, management level, strategic level. There's a pre-scene given now. All the exams are online exams. You can do the exams from home. You can go to exam center. If you do the exams from home, there is someone who is watching you for the entire 3 hours. So integrity of the exam is secure, but very, very flexible. You can plan the exams at any time of the day. A lot of flexibility is allocated. Dr. Noel is the gentleman who was behind the syllabus change, who is not with SEMA now. He was in SEMA. He was in Sri Lanka recently. We had a long chat about the journey that we have gone together in last few years. So my name is Shanna. I'm there whenever you wanted me to kind of contact. My mobile number is given there, which is no 777, which is no 777 398 996. Whenever you want to kind of ask anything, please always send me a message. I work at Dankutu Porcelain PLC as the executive director, and I work for a Sri Lanka gas organization, which has 80% of the market share, Litrogas as a chairman. So we will share our experience of how I started my life at Ernst & Young at 900 rupees a salary for a month, and how the experience helped us to be what we are today, and how you can go a better journey faster than us. So I'll come back. We'll have enough discussions of how we can help you personally to be a better leader and get something from what we had done, but build mostly on your own and be better than us, right? So I just want to give the introduction to Nanaska. I just want to say that we are around for you. You have my number to send a message, but enjoy the sessions. All the very best for your journey. It's a long journey. Celebrate the beginning today. And I wish you all the very best for the long-term journey. We will see you again. Send me a WhatsApp message introducing you, so that I can save you. Just say where you work, what you do, name. I'll save your number as well. So whenever we are free, we can have a chat. Okay? Guys, all the very best. Mr. Mark will start. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye. Mark, you can.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks, my dear. We'll be in touch. Mark, you can start.
Yes. Right. Good evening, guys. Am I audible and visible? Can you all confirm on the chat box that you can see me and hear me? Superb. Right. So then I think you had some introductions on the case study and on the few aspects of SEMA by Chandna. So therefore, we'll continue from where there on. Right. So first of all, welcome to Nanaska. So I believe. We all are in here for a journey that we will start. Of course, the first case study that we are attempting in our SEMA journey. So I'm sure most of you would be quite on that exciting lot. So let's see how it goes, right? So today it's an introductory session, so where we will talk about the course outline, what is in store for you, what is expected from you, and what we will do in class together. Then we'll take a short break, and then we'll spend some time on the pre-scene that we have for the case study. So remember, case study, you get a pre-scene document, right? You have an organization for which that we've got to prepare ourselves with. So that's what we call the pre-scene document. So let's run through 1 or 2 pages of the pre-scene, do a little bit of discussions on that, and then take it forward from there on. So before we start, a quick introduction about myself. So I'm Mark, been part of Nanaska since 2016, and took over operational case study in 2020, and we've been continuing maybe each and every session. So alongside Mr. Channa Gunwardana, and I also am part of John Keel's Holdings attached to the retail sector. So I studied accounting, but I've got rid of accounting and now in sales and distribution. So we do the Samsung agency at John Keel's, and I overlook the general trade market. So quite interesting. New challenges we face daily. Technology is changing day by day. We've got to adapt to it. So it's a very interesting role. So I'm into operations and pretty much into that primary activities of the value chain. So I currently go as the head of sales and distribution for the general trade market. So that's a little bit about myself, and I would like to know a little bit about you, as to where you work, your pathway to operational case study, whether you are coming from the OTQ batch or whether you are coming from the FLP pathways, right? So just a quick introduction, where you work, whether you're coming from the OTQ or the FLP pathway, so that I know how the crowd is, so that I could articulate accordingly. So before we make a start, one by one, let's take about 5 minutes. So let's everybody quickly type in the chat box your name, where you work, where you are from maybe, and of course your SEMA pathway. Are you in the FLP route or are you in the OTQ route, right? So quick start. Can everybody quickly send in your details on the chat box? So we have Gayatri and Lini. Yes, I see your names. So let's include your where you work, where you're from, and maybe your pathway, right? Tinesh from Sampath Bank from the FLP. Good. Then we have Kislo from Bank of Ceylon. Good. Avishka from MS Capital. Good. Maliti at Surge Global. Good. We have Chagi Dabare, Credit Control at LSEG. Good. Then we have Ishara Matthews, Commercial Bank. Tevindu, Cisco Labs. Hi, Tevindu. Then we have Sumandaran from Sampath Bank and Sandabini from Mas Legato. Eshan from Continental. Manisha from WNS. Lihini from USJP. Pavani, second year undergraduate. Oh, Department of Accounting. So I believe you would have started your internship by now from FLP. Lasita from Prim Intimates. Good. Farhan, insurance in Qatar. Wow. Then we have Amalka from HNB. Senaya, undergraduate at USJP. Nimsara at Verge Natural. We have Mudita from Sinopower. Good. Engineering background. Very good. Javatri from Deloitte. So majority of you I see are from, the FLP pathway. Just keep sending in your details, guys. No harm. Continue. So we'll have a chat. So it's going to be quite interesting. So we have a bunch of bankers with us. Some into IT, some into engineering, some working at I saw the London Stock Exchange, Surge Global, MS. So I think we have a good mix of people this time. Then we have Paboda Basnaika working at MS. Good. Super. So what about the others? Did everybody send in your details? Super. So pretty much I would say 90% of the group here is from the FLP pathway, right? The finance leadership program. So then you what you have to do is basically you will have three modules for your E1, F1 and P1. P1 is your management accounting, F1 is your financial accounting, E1 is your enterprise pillar, right? So there'll be three subjects for which you have to attempt three modules in the LMS, in the system that you get access to. After completion of that only you can book your case study exam. You can attempt your case study exam. So make sure we have timelines set properly so that we have enough time to spend for the case study. So don't keep your FLP modules till the end, right? If you haven't got your FLP system logins, try to get them as soon as possible. Follow up with the team and then make sure you complete all your FLP modules at least 1 month prior to the exam. At least 1 month prior to the exam. So when are your exams? When are your exams? When are your exams? Your exams will be from the 5th of February to the 8th of February, right? So you barely have about 6.5 to 7 weeks left. So over the next 2.5 to 3 weeks, I want you all to complete your FLP modules. So have a target, right? By the end of the first week of January, latest you have to be done with your FLP. Target at least 31st December, so you will end up completing them by 7th of Jan, right? So make sure you are very clear with your timeline, especially the people who are coming from the FLP pathway. I will tell you the importance of that as we go on. So I just wanted to highlight, since the majority of you are from the FLP route, make sure you are clear when you are going to complete your FLP modules. Have it done at least by 31st December or latest by the 7th of Jan. First week of Jan is the best timeline I can give you. Finish off your three modules. Then you have 1 full month to focus only on the case study, right? Because this is the first case study we all are facing, not easy, right? You'll need some time to adapt to how it works by attempting a few mock papers, right? So then as we go along, you will find that you will get more and more queries. You will start to struggle in the middle. Then you need time to adjust yourselves, to correct yourselves and come to the track so that you are on course to pass the case study. For that you need at least 4 to 5 weeks. So which is why I say 1 full month should be allocated to focus 100% on the case study, those who are coming from the FLP pathway. So make a note on that, have a plan and make sure it's done accordingly, right? So at Nanaska, we offer all three case studies. So you are the very first case study at operational level. So myself and Channa will be taking you over, and I'll be taking majority of the sessions. And also we have refresh theory sessions. Now, what are refresh theory sessions? For your operational case study, right? So let me go to the whiteboard. So you have three subjects. E1 is your enterprise aspect, where you try to learn about the theoretical aspects, like shared services to digital marketing, to the marketing aspects, operations management, supply chain, all of that, right? Then F1 is your financial pillar, where you learn about your accounting standards, right? Financial statements, taxation, to all of that. And then P1, that is your management accounting pillar, right? So I'm sure most of you, if you are coming from the OTQ pathway, you would, I'm sure you would have, you know them, but then you need some refreshers on that. And especially those who are from the FLP route, you also would need to know as to what these three subjects are about, what they talk about, the key areas. So we will have 2 sessions each, right? We will have 2 sessions each for E1, for F1, and for P1. 2 sessions each, right? To give you a quick glimpse of what this subject is about, what you've got to know, the key areas you've got to know to pass your exam. So for that, P1 will be done by Ali, right? Ali is a P1 lecturer. And then we have Osman, who will take you over, who will take you through E1 and F1. So Osman will take you over through E1 and F1. Ali will take you through P1, and I will take you through the case study. So that's how we have planned out the session. So you get 2 sessions for each subject: E1, F1, and P1. E1, F1, and P1, right? So that's our panel. Then if you look at what we will really do in class, right? So these are few elements we try to cover in class, or we will cover in class. First one, know your pre-scene. Now, I told you your case study will be based on a particular pre-scene document, on a particular company, on a particular organization, right? You will have all the details about that organization, from what you have to do, your role, to the history, to the management team, to the financial statements, to the operations, to sales, to everything. All the details are there. So let me share the pre-scene with you on the chat box. I'm sure most of you would have it. Let me see whether I've got it here. Yeah, I'll upload it here and then share it with you on the chat box. Yeah, so you can download it from the chat box. So this is the pre-scene that we will be using for our analysis, for our case study discussion. So we will give you a document called Know Your Pre-scene. We call it KYP. It's a summarized version of your pre-scene. Right? So this will have your pre-scene organized into a set of slides with images to give you a better understanding of what we are trying to talk about, right? Because your pre-scene document, it will be full of text, right? Few images here and there, but this pre-scene, the KYP, we have designed in a way so that it's embedded with a lot of visuals, a lot of images. So as you go through this, you will understand what we are really talking about, what are we really referring to. So it gives you a better understanding. It makes things easy for you to understand when you go through the KYP. So that's our pre-scene document, the pre-scene summarized document. So we'll be using that today also, right? When we run through the pre-scene, and it's basically the document, the pre-scene given by SEMA that I've shared with you, plus the KYP are the two documents that we will use at the start for our pre-scene analysis, right? Number two, we give you a KYI. What is KYI? Know your industry. So know your industry is a document that gives you, I mean, that's not something you have to study, right? Know your industry, why we give is because you got to know as to what this business is about, what this business line is about. Now, for example, if you had gone through the pre-seed, what is our company? Which industry are we in? So our company name is back office. So which industry are we in? Can you all do some guesses by looking at the images you see, by going through the pre-scene I have shared with you? What do you think? Which industry do we operate? Our company name is back office. Which industry do we operate in? Anyone? Which industry do we operate in? Yes. Which industry do we operate in? Backpacks. Yes, we do manufacture, design. We do design, manufacture, and sell backpacks. Right? I mean, you might be wondering, how can an organization sustain by just selling backpacks? I mean, there are organizations that sustain themselves, right? I mean, it's not just one small market we are talking about, right? If you look at backpacks, I mean, look at the target markets you can offer your product to, starting from uh, kindergarten to schooling to universities, right, to officers, right, to other especially other companies, right, who I mean, when you talk about officers, it's basically office staff in general. But then you will have, other workers in specific industries that who will be using a huge number of backpacks, right? So it's a huge market, right? So as you go through the pre-scene, as you go through the industry analysis, you will identify the market size, what rate is the market growing, what are the trends in the market, right? What are the challenges in the market, what are the opportunities in the industry, right? What are the weaknesses, the threats, everything. So this KYI document is to give you some insights about the industry, right? It will give you industry examples, right? Challenges faced by the backpacks industry, the new trends of the backpacks industry, right? So it's quite important because now we are at a case study level. Our thinking patterns also should broaden little by little as we go along the SEMA pathway, right? I mean, at foundation, at certificate level, at your FLP, yes, it will be, uh, theory that will be tested, but now we are trying to apply that theory into practice. Then you've got to know the recommendations you are giving, the applications you are talking about should be relevant to business, should be relevant to business. It has to be practical. Now, which is why when you know about the industry, when you know what is happening around, right, you get a better understanding of what you got to propose to the examiner, what you got to recommend to the examiner, which is why we give you a KYI. And also this will have details of a real world company, very similar to back office, very similar to a pre-scene company, real world company, so that then you can browse through their websites, go through their social media, look at what form of content they push through, what sort of promotional campaigns they run, right? Go to their website and see, do they have a e-commerce platform? If so, how does it work? Do they allow product comparisons? Do they allow customer reviews, right? So that the objective is, a real world company similar to that of us that operate, then you know where you are. You try to understand, okay, where is the standard of excellence? If they have a e-commerce site, do I have it? If not, there is a gap. How do I bridge this gap? Now that's the knowledge, that's what you have to be thinking about when you go through the KYI, when you go through the know your industry, right? So we will be giving these two documents at the start to you, so you can easily, you have ample time to go through it and get a better understanding of what we are trying to talk about, as to what and how we will structure our discussion on the back office organization, right? So that's about the two documents we will be using at the start: the KYP, know your pre-scene, and the KYI, know your industry, right? Number three, you get a power mock and a financial mock. Now, what is that? Financial mock is purely from your F1, right? All the F1 areas, the key F1 areas that could turn up in your exam, it's put together and given to you in the form of a mock paper. Then what is power mock? Power mock is a summarized version of your E1, F1, P1. It will have questions from all three areas. General questions, how you need to answer to such questions, right? Generic questions from E1, F1, and P1, and how you got to the key answer points that have to be included in such questions will be there in your power mock, right? So those two are given to you with the answers so that you can study them, right? That will be given to you towards the latter part so that you can study and refer to them. That's number three. Number four, you get reality mocks in exam engine. Now, what is that? You get to attempt about 8 to 10 mock papers in the exam engine. Now, what is exam engine? Exam engine is what Nanaska offers for you to familiarize yourself with the actual environment you will get in the exam. With the actual environment that you will get in the exam. That's your reality mock. So basically you will get, let's say, 10 mock papers. So first mock paper we will do together. You and I, we will do together. You can debate, you can ask questions. We will agree on how the mock paper needs to be done. Right? How do you understand, identify the question? How many answer points should you write? How much should you write for each point? Right? What is the structure of your answer? Right? What sort of content should be included in your answer? Now, that is the discussion we will have in mock 1. So mock 1, we will give you the paper and the answer for you to familiarize yourself. So first we will have the discussion in class. Then you can take the paper, try to do it, or at least go through the answer points by yourself, and then benchmark it with the standard, the model answer we give to you. Right? So remember, all our model answers are quite detailed, right? Which are enabling you to learn and study both, right? So you don't have to have the same standard, but it has to be at least 80% of what is covered in our model papers should be there in your answers. That's the expectation, right? So first mock we will do together in class, right? Then if you look at from mock 2, right, we will give you a timeline. Let's say our mock 1 discussion is due on the 5th of Jan, right? If possible, I'll try to prepone it. Then the next week, that is the week starting from the 6th to the 12th of Jan, you need to do mock 2. Then the next week you have to do mock 3. The week after you have to do mock 4 and 5, right? The week after mock 6 and 7. The week after mock 8. And the final week you will have for mock 9 and 10. So every week we give you the timelines as to what is expected from you, right? Financial mock and the power mock, yes, it's not something you have to attempt. We will not mark it and send to you. No, you can go through the paper and the answer. We give it to you for study and reference purposes, right? I think that should be available for you to access by the beginning of January itself, right? So we will upload that early. No worries about that. But in terms of timelines, you've got to be very careful with your mocks. You've got to be very careful with your mocks, right? Because if you delay one mock paper without sticking to the timeline, that's get added to your pending list. So you don't have a lot of time. You have, let's say, barely about 6 to 7 weeks where you have to attempt about 10 mock papers. Not easy, right? It's a challenging task. It's a daunting task, right? But as long as you stick to the timelines, I believe that should be a very achievable task, right? That should be a very achievable task. So week on week, we'll let you know, okay, this week, what is expected from you. Next week, this is what you have to do. So we'll create a to-do list. We will agree in class before we wind up. That's what you have to follow. That's what you have to, fulfill over that particular week. Over that particular week, right? So you get, let's say, have a note with you. We'll do 10 mock papers, right? We'll do 10 mock papers. Ground rules is what we will cover in our mock 1 discussion, as to how you got to your answer structure, to how much you've got to write, to whatnot. So that will be part of that. Then we give you a deep dive document, pretty much related to your coming from your KYP, but it's a detailed version of your pre-scene. There we try to link in particular areas of the pre-scene, what are the relevant theory areas and what are the possible questions that could come up. So basically I said, first 2 weeks we will be doing a pre-scene analysis. That analysis is given to you in a documented form, that is your deep dive. So after the analysis discussion in class, you can spend time with the deep dive to see what are the areas that we discussed, right? So I also want to make a note, have a hard copy of the pre-scene with you when we meet next week. I want you to take down notes, scribble, right? Discuss, write down the discussion points we have in class during our pre-scene analysis. Deep dive will be given to you separately, right? That's again our discussion in a detailed written form. But I want you to write on the pre-scene and get things to your mind during class, the points we discuss, right? The interactions we have, the possible question scenarios we discuss in class. So you make a note of it in your pre-scene document. So have a hard copy with you, right? Or even a soft copy where you can add notes and comments, right? I know you guys are much more higher than me in terms of digitalization, so I don't have to advise you in these areas. But whatever preferred, have that document so that you keep on scribbling, you write down those additional points and make sure you have all the information we discuss in the pre-scene analysis sessions, right? That's very critical, very important. Then, as I told you, we have 6 refresh theory sessions, 2 subjects, 2 sessions for each subject, E1, F1 and P1. We will start with F1, right? F1, your first refresh theory sessions will be on the 21st December, that is coming Saturday, right? First refresh theory session for F1, 21st December, Saturday, that will be 7:30 to 9:30 p.m., right? So that's our first refresh theory session for F1. So we'll be meeting again on the 22nd. You and I will be meeting again on the 22nd. So before that, so because you know why we try to complete the refresh series sessions by the 2nd of Jan, all our refresh theory sessions are completed, right? By the 2nd of Jan, all our refresh theory sessions will be completed, because before we go into the mocks, you have to be very conversant with your theory. I'll tell you why. Before we go into the mocks, before we start attempting mock papers, you have to be very clear, very conversant, very confident with your theory. Otherwise, we are in a little bit of a bother. So don't put yourself to that. Start today, start tomorrow, get your notes, start refreshing and revising your E1, F1 and P1. So if you have done some work in advance, especially for F1, then you have the F1 lecturer where you can clear off all your doubts within those 2 sessions. I think for F1 we have 2 sessions, right? So try to do some learning in advance for your respective refresh series session, so that during the session, if you have any further doubts, any further questions, you try to clarify then and there with the particular lecture, right? So try to keep that in mind. That's very important. Insights, we do the KYI discussion. Then we have about 3 to 4 one-to-one discussions. That is after you complete mock 2, then mock 4, mock 6. Likewise, for 3 or 4 mock papers, we give you individual one-to-one sessions with our marking team, so that you get feedback on what you have done. So the objective is, now from mock 2 onwards, we will start marking your papers and sending them to you. So gradually you have to start improving in terms of your marks. I'm sure mock 2 everybody will get below 50, not a problem. Mock 3 everybody will get below 50, not a problem. Mock 4 onwards, sometimes 50, 52, 55, fine. right? Mock 5, 60, right? I want to see that continuous improvement in everybody. How do you get that continuous improvement? You do mock 2, you get 30 marks, you try, you get the feedback from the one-to-one sessions you have, you take a step back, see where you went wrong, correct it, give a better shot in mock 3. That's how it has to happen, right? Not just doing mock papers for the sake of doing. I am not into that, right? I need to see a continuous improvement from mock 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, 6. Likewise, there has to be a gradual improvement in your marks. I'm not expecting everybody to get 100 marks in mock 2 itself. No, everybody will get below 15 mock 2. Everybody will get below 15 mock 3. That's fine. Since you're learning, right? Now 2 and 3 you're done. Mock 4, yes, maybe you touch the 50 mark. Mock 5, touch the 60 or the 55 mark. Mock 6, 60. Mock 7, 65. I need to see that continuous improvement. How are you going to experience that? Take your mock papers, refresh your theories, see where you have gone wrong, correct your mistakes, stick to the answer structures we discuss in class, the content you write in your answers, your writing speed, right? All of that matters. All of that matters, right? So, therefore, doing all mock papers, at least what I always tell in class is you have to attempt at least, this is at least I'm saying mock 7, at least you have to attempt 7 mock papers under exam conditions for you to at least get some confidence in passing the exam. If you do anything below mock 7 mock papers, forget about passing, forget about passing, right? Just you're going to waste some money, right? That has been the trend, how it has been so far. So I'm telling it to you with experience. At least attempt 7 mock papers under exam conditions. That's when you are qualified to sit for the final exam. We don't restrict you in uh, sitting for the exam. It's up to you, right? But you've got to have the confidence. Unless you do at least 7 mock papers in exam conditions, forget about passing your exam. Not easy, right? Not easy. So therefore you have to be very clear. That's why I have marked this very clearly in terms of mocks, in terms of writing mocks, attempting mocks. You have to be very clear, very strict in terms of the timelines you follow, we give you, right? Keep that in mind, right? And then we also give you a possible issues document. What is possible issues? We try to anticipate what the examiner would come up on the exam day, the questions the examiner could turn up with on the exam day, and we give that to you in a form. We break down the issues into various areas like supply chain, lease, accounting standards, right? Then operations, sales and marketing. Likewise, we break down into various areas. From that particular area, what could be the triggers the examiner would ask from you on the exam day? That is what the possible issue document would cover, right? That is what the possible issue document would cover. So this is a comprehensive outline of what we will do in class. A comprehensive outline of what we will do in class. Right now, I've been talking for about 30 to 40 minutes. Now, I want you to take a step back, reflect on what we have been discussing so far. So I've given you an introduction of the case study, right? The things that we will do in class as you see on the screen, right? Then I said that you will have 2 sessions each into the of the 3 E1, F1, P1 theory subjects. So it will be refresh theory sessions. I've highlighted the importance of doing mock papers, the minimum count you have to do to pass the exam. So those are the things that we have covered up to this point, right? Now you can ask me any questions you may have, or if you are clear, please type on the chat box that you are clear, and then we can move forward, right? So I'll give you 2 minutes quickly. If you have any questions, please ask. If not, yes, say that you are clear so that we can move forward. It's all yours. Superb. What about the others? How nervous were you when you sat for your first SEMA paper? And how did you feel after those 7 mocks? My God. Quite nervous. Well, I did my SEMA back in 2000. When did I do? I completed it in 2016, right? February. It was February 2016. The strategic case study that I attempted. So basically, back then, until so it was 2015, the syllabus change came, right? Before that, it was just the three subjects that you had to do in exam mode. Now FLP came very recently, no. So before that, it was you had to do your foundation level 5 subjects, operational level 3 subjects, managerial level 3 subjects, strategic level 3 subjects, and then your top SEMA, right? So I was in that syllabus, right? I was in that syllabus. So in 2015, if I'm not mistaken, only the syllabus change came. Foundation was brought down to 4 subjects. Operational level, they put 3 subjects and a case study. Management level, 3 subjects and a case study. Strategic level, 3 subjects and a case study. So by the time the syllabus change came, I was done up to managerial level. So I had to do only strategic level. So thank God I didn't have to attempt managerial case study, right? So now what I had to do was the 3 subjects of strategic case study and then the final case study, right? uh, so my strategic case study lecturer was none other than Mr. Channa Gunawardhan. So back then he used to somehow push us to get the mock papers done, and those days it was physical classes, right? So if you don't do the mock paper and go, right, I don't have to tell you what will happen, right? We would be simply put down to the earth, right? I mean, you simply can't face after that. So therefore we'll make sure that we somehow get the mocks done and we are prepared before we go, because we had one-to-one sessions with him, all the sessions that you all have, we had with him, right? So therefore, I mean, it was very interesting back then. But then yes, there was some level of nervousness, because that was the first time we did something online. We never did typing exams online. Even the 3 subjects, it was OTQs, right? But then it didn't make a lot of difference, not a lot of excitement, because we had the exam engine as you have. So we did enough practice there. Then we tracked our WPM. We call that words per minute, how many words you can type per minute. So I'll give you the details. Standard is somewhere around 35. So minimum you have to maintain a WPM of about 35, right? Anything above that would be good, right? So but the feeling after being prepared is basically the amount of confidence you will have. So having done the mock papers, attended the sessions, gone through the discussions, the analysis to whatnot, that basically boosts your confidence when it comes to getting prepared for the exam. And if you as long as you don't delay doing mock papers, as long as you stick to the timelines, the workload towards the end would ease off. If you don't, everything will get piled up towards the end, and then you will be stressed off. You will not have time with your work and everything, other commitments. You will make this a utter failure. So don't go to that level. Now that is why I'm highlighting the importance of that from the beginning itself, right? Try to make sure you stick to the timelines, especially with mock papers. That is what gives you practice, because you are new to case study, right? You haven't done this before. You are new to case study, so you got to start rising yourselves immediately, right? So as long as you do that work around you, I think should be confident. And also I ended up getting the Sri Lankan prize also. The best thing happened to me was, now the case study we got was from the garment industry, apparel, textile, right? So those days, as Channa said, he went to EY. So I was starting my training. I was at PwC. I got an assignment in a garment factory, right? So I got enough, and also to the benefit of it, myself and my superior, both of us, we were doing the strategic case study. We both had the same case study. So when we were doing the internal audit assignment, We had ample time to chat with all the people, all the stakeholders, get good insights of how it really happens. We wrote, I think both of us, we wrote many industry examples. I think that's where it made the difference, right? So it's all about, how you immerse yourself into the case study and the output you get out of it, right? The more you immerse yourself, your output would be easier to get, and the output is, of course, obvious, you're going to pass, right? So have that confidence with you. Should be more than enough, right? The passing score, Manisha, is 80 out of 150, right? Passing score is 80 out of 150. If you are missing, yes, please go through the videos again, because all the sessions will be recorded, and once you register, you get access to our LMS will have all the video recordings of each and every session, and you will be added to a WhatsApp group where once every video is uploaded, you get a notification on the WhatsApp group as well, right? I won't give a guarantee saying 100% of the theory will be covered in the case. In my sessions, I will cover some, but not as deep as how it is covered in your refresh theory sessions. Ishara Matthews, I hope I am clear. Not as deep as how it's covered in the refresh theory sessions. I will touch on the surface, assuming that you know it. If you don't know, yes, still you can ask, not a problem. If you don't know, you ask me, I'll teach you, right? But my objective is, I want you all to have that background with you, makes things easy for me to take you through the case study discussion, right? But still, no problem. If you have a question, even in my sessions, you can ask. I'm always willing to help you. But I recommend you going through the refresh theory sessions, right? That will give you, if you don't know anything, that will give you at least some form of understanding. If you have forgotten everything, that would refresh what the things you know, right? So I want everybody to be a part of those refresh theory sessions. So once you register, you will get your timetable. So I told you, let me give you some heads up. So the first F1 refresh theory is on the 21st. Second F1 will be on the 23rd. First E1 on the 27th. Second E1 on the 28th. The P1 first session on the 30th, and the P1 second session on the 2nd of Jan. So you will get the timetable and the schedule upon registration. It will be shared with you, right? Good. Any other questions? Any other questions? Or can we move on? Right. So to give you an overview of the operational level case study, right? Critical success factors for you to pass this exam. Number one, refresh your theory. E1, F1, P1. That's very critical. Why do I say that? Can you see this? Your theory counts for about 65% of your paper. 60 to 65% easily we can say, if you know the theory properly, you can easily pass the exam. 30 to 40% is where you get those applications. 35 to 40% is where you get the business applications, where you got to come up with practical answers, connect your theory to the case study, to things like that. But majority of it, 60%, 65% of it is coming from your theory. If you know your theory well, you are poised for a good result. You are poised, you are set up in a place where you could gain a good result. And mind you, out of the three subjects, which subject will have a higher weight? If I break down the 65% further, if I take that as 100% and I try to break it down, majority of it will come from your P1, your management accounting. 55%, that's a huge portion. 55%. Then equally from E1 and F1, right? 50 to 60% will be coming from your P1. The balance will be equally spread off between E1 and F1. So that's the structure of your case study examination, right? Let me repeat that. Your overall case study examination, it will have a mix of 60 to 40 or a 65 to 35 theory, the higher portion, and the business applications. From that theory, 60 to 70% of the theory you get, majority of it, about 50 to 60% is coming from your P1. Then equally spread off the balance between F1 and E1. So under P1 you will learn risk and uncertainty, budgeting, costing, right? Then you will learn variance analysis, right? Things like ABC, ABM, not ABM. You will have ABC, right? So you will learn a lot of things. Now try to pay attention to these areas. You have to be conversant with it. You have to be thorough with it for you to give a good answer, for you to produce a good answer, right? So please take note of this aspect. So the critical success factors, number one is your theory. You have to refresh it adequately. Practice mock papers given with the in the given timelines. Make sure you complete your mock papers. Words per minute, WPM we call it. So WPM is your typing speed. So usually we say on average you have to have a minimum of 35. Anything more than that would be good. So how do you practice this? From tomorrow onwards, at least 2 to 3 times a week, take a newspaper, keep on typing for about 10-15 minutes. Then track. Within that 15 minutes, how many words did you type? That is your WPA. That has to see a growth. It has to show an improvement over time, right? It has to show an improvement over time for you to be successful in maintaining that minimum or improving it further. So make sure you know what your WPM is, you know the standard, and you know what to do to improve it further. Be very careful with that. Pre-scene know-how. So you need to read the pre-scene at least how many times? Make sure before the exam you have read it at least 20 to 25 times. 20 to 25 times. In class itself, we will be going through multiple rounds. You take your own time, read it when you have some free time, right? So I'm sure most of you are heading for the holiday season, right? You'll have ample time. Make use of that time to refresh your theory, to read through the pre-scene, right? Invest. That's not making use of time. That's what we call you invest your time, right? You're investing your time for things like this. You don't use your time, you invest your time. So invest time in these aspects in the coming days, right? And then your possible issues. Now see, we give you 10 mock papers and a possible issues document. 10 mock papers, what does it cover? It covers, it's like an actual examination paper, right? It will try to anticipate multiple scenarios. In the possible issues also, you try to have multiple scenarios what the examiner could ask on the exam day. So you have 10 mock papers. Each mock paper will have 4 sections, right? And there itself you will have about how many 40 scenarios. Possible issues also you will have multiple scenarios. So we objective of these two is we are trying to anticipate what the examiner could ask on the exam day as much as possible, and I want you all to be ready with it, right? Objective is we try to anticipate as much as possible. So far we have been successful. Even last time easily we had about a 90% hit rate of what came in the exam we had covered in the mock papers and the possible issues. So it has been successful to date. So that is why I'm always highlighting the importance of mock papers, right? So through mock papers and possible issues, that's our objective, that's our plan. We try to anticipate, we try to forecast what the examiner could ask from you on the exam day. So as long as you stick to the timelines and do the mock papers, do the possible issues, you should be easily poised to get a very good result for this exam. Even the prize, right? Easily poised to get a very good result. So please focus on that. That's the objective. Try to somehow anticipate what the examiner could ask. So I'll give you a sample snapshot of a mock paper, one particular section. So on your exam day, you have 4 sections. So I'll give you a structure of the exam paper, right? So you will have 4 sections. How long is your paper? Can someone tell me? How long do you get to answer the case study examination? What's the time duration you get? What's the time duration? Any ideas? 3 hours. You get 3 hours for the exam paper. So you have 4 sections. For each section, how many hours? You get 45 minutes. Am I right? You get 45 minutes. So each section, right? Each section will have a minimum of 2 tasks, a maximum of 4 tasks. Each section will have either minimum of 2 questions or a maximum of even up to 4 questions. Ideally, most of the cases it's either 2 or 3. Yes, there have been situations where there were 4 questions as well, but majority of it, yes, minimum being 2 and maximum being about most of the time 3. And yes, there were situations where the maximum was 4 as well. So this is the structure of your examination. This is the structure of your examination. Now you are sitting for the exam. You are in section 1. You complete section 1 in 30 minutes. Let's say you have done all your 10 mock papers, you've done all your work, your refresh theory, whatnot. You're very comfortable, highly confident. You're easily done with section 1. 30 minutes you are done. What can you do with the balance 15 minutes? What can you do with the balance 15 minutes? Remember, you can't take it forward. You might as well use that 15 minutes to either check your answer, take a small break, have some water, and then get ready for the next section. If you end section 1 and go to section 2, remember, you can't come back to section 1. Section 1 is gone. You have no access to it. Right? Section 1 is gone. Now you have to focus on section 2. And you attempt section 1 in 30 minutes, you have 15 minutes remaining. Right? With 15 minutes remaining, you go to section 2. Section 2, you will not get 60 minutes. It's only 45 minutes. Right? It's fixed. Right? And when you come forward, you can't go back. You complete section 2 and you go to section 3. Right? Let's say from each section you save 10 minutes each, 20 minutes. Will you get 65 minutes for section 3? No, it's still 45 minutes. And you are in section 3, you can't go back and see section 1 and section 2. Remember that. Examination is one way, no reverse, right? It's one way, right? It's one way. You can't come back, right? And once you have submitted a particular section, forget about it, right? You have to focus on the next. And remember, you can't take your time forward, right? So might as well utilize the entire time available for that particular section. Utilize the entire time available for that particular section. So those are the main rules in the examination you've got to follow, right? Okay, so is everybody clear? So we discussed the structure, the overview of the case study, how it looks like. I gave you a glimpse of what the examination looks like. And yes, I'll give you a sample question. So just take 2 minutes, read through this question. So this is exactly what you will get in the exam. This is exactly what you will see, what you will get in the exam. Right? So I'll give you 3 minutes. Everybody, go through this question. See, just get a feel of how you would experience this when you face this in the exam, when you see this in the exam. So this is exactly what you will get in the exam, and this is a screenshot of a mock paper that I have attached here for your reference, so that you get a glimpse of what we are trying to do in class. So very similar to what you will get at the exam as well. So I'll give you 3 minutes quickly. Read through this section and then we'll have a quick discussion before we go to the next. So what did you see in this sample question that you see on the screen? Now you will get an email from your boss, right? You will get an email from your boss asking to basically attend to some issues that are there in the organization. That's your exam, right? Very practical, and you have to somehow answer to those questions, to the issues you are facing on the exam day. Now, where do you work? Right? You work as a finance officer. We will discuss this in detail in our pre-scene analysis. You work as a finance officer and you report to the finance manager in back office. Now the finance manager sends you an email, right? Sends you an email uh, asking you to help him. I need to finalize the financial state. Just ignore the dates, guys. Just go through the content, right? I need to finalize the statements for the quarter ended 31st December. The following two events have happened in Jan that may well affect the quarterly statements. I would like you to let me know how you think these should be treated. So you have two events and then you have another issue. In addition to the above, right? There have been a few issues with the key supplier of whey powder. Just ignore it. Assume it to be an ingredient or a raw material where they are not conforming to standards, and during the recent past have been quality issues arising in the materials delivered. Issues range from non-conformance to certain quality standards, resulted in significant number of returns, delays in delivery, production holdups, and delays. I've been asked by Ben to make some suggestions about KPIs to establish to monitor supply performance. With this issue highlighted, proposal from our production director to assess the potential of a new supply of that particular raw material where we have issues if the current issues are not sorted immediately. I've looked at some financial information relating to a potential new supplier proposed by the production director. I have prepared the attached schedule, so you don't see the schedule here, but you will get a schedule on the exam day on the mock papers when you see a question like that. With the reference material is you have an attachment, so you have to open the attachment and also see, right? Which shows the working capital position of the new proposed supplier, information about revenue and cash balances, and I'd like to prepare the commentary to go with. So we have to prepare a commentary. I would like you to share with me below. First question. Explanation of how the two events identified will affect the financial statements for the quarter ended. So that's accounting for 34% of your marks, right? 2, 33. So basically all these three tasks are equally weighted. Equally weighted. So how long can you spend here? Maximum of 12 minutes, right? Now if you take what did we finalize here? We have 45 minutes for each section. Now for 45 minutes you can't be spending all 45 to write. No, you have to read the unseen. We call this the unseen. What you face at the exam is your unseen. You have to read the unseen, understand the exam requirement. So exam requirement here, of course, it's clear cut. It has been given clearly to you. To read, to plan your answers to that, we might need about 8 to 10 minutes. So let's say you have only 30 minutes, 35 minutes. So you can at most spend about 12 minutes for each task. So within the 12 minutes, you have to say whether how these two events will be treated in the financial statements. So now I know most of you would have forgotten your theory. That's fine. You're going to refresh it. You're going to recap it. You're going to learn it again. But just for the discussion of this, can you tell me? Let's talk about the first event. What does it say? There was a fire in the raw material warehouse in Jan. Where is our quarter ending? It's ending in December. Now, is that, should we account for that impact in the quarter ended December? Or how does it work? What do you think? What do you think? We should, how we need to treat that? Avishka is telling no. Why? Not adjusting. Very good. Yes, it's a non-adjusting event. Why is it a non-adjusting event? Why is it a non-adjusting event? Why is it a non-adjusting event? event happened after the end of the financial quarter. Agreed? Okay. What else? Now, what are we talking about? We are talking about what is a particular standard. Can somebody remember the accounting standard relating to this? What is the IAS International Accounting Standard that is related to this? Yes. What is the International Accounting Standard relating to this particular issue, this particular scenario? Very good. IAS 10 events after the reporting period. That is your IAS 10. Now, IAS 10 defines the events into two. What are the two events? Adjusting events and non-adjusting events. Now, what is the basis for us to make a call whether it is an adjusting event or a non-adjusting event? Simple basis. The standard says there has to be evidence of existence at the reporting date. Evidence of existence at the reporting date. Do you have any evidence of existence at the reporting date? Meaning at 31st December, was there any evidence of a fire? No, it's occurring in January. So therefore, there is no evidence of existence at the reporting date. Therefore, we do not adjust. Can you see? We say it's non-adjusting and we justify it. We give the reasoning behind why we say it's a non-adjusting event. Right? But what can you do? You can include it as a note. You can disclose it. Look here in your notes to financial statements under disclosures, you can say there is this thing that happened and the potential impact could be, you can give estimated loss value. You can give a note or a disclosure. So that's for event 1, right? Event 2, adjusting or non-adjusting. Adjusting or non-adjusting. Now remember the basis. The basis is that particular event or incident, was there any evidence of existence at the reporting date? If yes, you adjust. If no, you don't adjust. That's the basis for your decision making. So what will you do? You will adjust or not adjust. You will adjust. Very good. You will adjust. Why? They have taken out this case in September 2022. Our quarter is December 2023. So we would have maintained a provision account with us for this legal case. So there is an evidence of existence. There is something with us. Some record with us to say, look here, there is this thing that is happening. Now this is happening on the 10th of January. Ideally, right? Your quarter is ending, let's say this is your timeline. This is your quarter end, right? This is your 31st of December, right? Ideally, you prepare the financial statements. Let's say you finalize the statements on the 10th. You present it to the directors on the 15th. The directors will authorize for issue somewhere on the month end. Let's say 30th, the directors authorize and you can issue. So this is the period we are trying to talk about. From the quarter end date up until the financial statements are authorized to issue, authorized for publication. Now that is the period we are considering, a cooling off period. All the events that are happening during such period are bound by IAS 10. Are bound by IAS 10. You have to decide whether it's going to be an adjusting event or a non-adjusting event based on the events that happen during this period. So this we adjust because we had a provision in our account, right? They paid us, so we will account for this. So event number 2 is a adjusting event. Why? There was a case already in our books, so we can adjust it as there is clear evidence of existence at the reporting date. as there is clear evidence of existence at the reporting date. Now, is everybody clear with the first task? I want everybody to say yes or no. If not, please ask. If you have a question, please ask. Is everybody clear? Quickly, rest of you? Superb. Now we come to the second question. Now we come to the second task. What does it say? What is your expectation? What should you give to the examiner? What should your answer be like? Right? Suggestions for 3 KPIs. KPIs for what? To monitor the performance of our suppliers. Include a justification of why each KPI is appropriate. Why do you want to propose that KPI? You have to give a justification as well. Now tell me, now this is what we are looking at, this paragraph. The issues we are facing with our suppliers. So to minimize them, we are trying to come up with a framework where we set certain KPIs to monitor their performance. So can you give me 3 KPIs in this case that we can use to monitor supplier performance? You can come up with the answers. I won't tell it. I want you to read through that and say, okay, what could be relevant KPIs, 3 KPIs we could use to measure the performance of the suppliers, to measure performance of our suppliers. Yes, I want everybody to answer at least maybe 1 KPI from each person. No worries, it might duplicate, but that's fine. I want you all to, because you know why? From next session onwards, in the present analysis, we've got to interact a lot, guys. It's not one way, right? Sometimes I might miss certain areas. You might get some thoughts on a different angle, from a different point of view, from a different area. You can bring it onto the table. Let's discuss, right? So it has to be a two-way discussion going forward, especially when we do the present analysis. You can always come up with your 2 cents. You can always chip in, disturb me, ask questions. That's all open with you, right? So let's take this forward in a discussion mode, in a two-way discussion mode. So I want you all also to chip in when and wherever possible, right? So now tell me, what are the relevant KPIs we could set to monitor performance of our suppliers? What are the relevant KPIs we could set? Very good. Keep on sending your answers, guys. Very good. Others? Can I see some more KPIs? Right, so let's go through one by one. Now, before I go through your answers, now what should we say? 3 KPIs. What is a KPI? Key performance indicator. A quantitative measurement that gives you progress, or that shows progress towards a particular objective. That's how we normally define a KPI. That's how we normally define a KPI. Now see, now take a step back and see the answer you gave. Does it fall into that definition, a quantitative expression of achieving a particular objective? the status of achieving a particular objective, a quantitative expression. Now think and see whether the definition, whether the KPI you gave falls into that framework. Time taken for delivery, very good. We already have delays in delivery, so that KPI is appropriate, because remember we have to justify why each KPI is appropriate also. So it addresses the problem we are facing, delays in delivery. So we are saying time taken for delivery. So what is the technical term for that? Lead time. Lead time. So if we specify a lead time, maybe 2 days within the place of ordering, you have to, the supplier has to send the goods to our warehouse within 2 days. That's the lead time. Very good. Whether supplier is delivering materials within estimated arrival time, same as that. Now Manisha, your answer is not a KPI. KPI is lead time, delivery time, right? So make sure you're very specific, because KPI has to be a quantitative expression of the status of you achieving a particular objective or not. Remember that. Supplier quality. Now, is that a KPI? Quality standards, quality checking from batch. Are they KPIs? What do you think? Lihini, Mudita, what do you think? Are they KPIs? Or is it very generic? When you say quality standards, supplier quality, quality checking, are they KPIs? They are not KPIs. Now, how can you make it a KPI? Maybe you can say quality score of the raw materials delivered. At the point of checking, you will check the quality, right? You will have assign a score. Let's say from a scale of 0 to 10, quality score can be 8, 9, 10. But if it's below 7, poor quality, something like that. Quality score of the delivered materials. That's how you can measure your supplier's quality. You can't simply say supplier quality. That is not a KPI. You will not get marks. Remember that? I hope you got some learning. So remember, KPI has to be quantitative. It has to show progress towards achieving a particular objective. So quality, make it okay. Quality score of the materials delivered by the supply. You converted that to a KPI. So does that address our problems? Yes. We had issues of non-conformance to quality standards. So we will measure suppliers on this quality basis. They have to maintain this quality. So it is appropriate to us. Good. Rejection count, or we can say number of returns. Very good. Rejection count or the number of returns. So we already have that problem. So higher the number of returns is a problem to us. We have to minimize that. Frequency of damaged items. Good. Supplier credit period. Is that a KPI relevant to the problems we are facing? Of course, it could be. It is a KPI related to suppliers, but is that relevant for our case? This is our case. Mudita, can you see? It has to be relevant to our case, because the examiner is asking to justify why each KPI is relevant. So it has to be relevant to our case. I know it's a KPI, but I don't think it's directly relevant to our case. Delays in delivery, yeah. Or you can say number of delays in delivery. Lihini, you have to reword it to make it a KPI. Number of delays in delivery. How many times has the supplier delayed? Because of the delays in delivery, we have had production delays also. So that directly addresses the problem we face. Therefore, that is appropriate. Very good. Right? Time taken is again lead time, number of delays, quality rejections, or you can say number of rejections due to quality issues. Lasita, number of rejections due to quality issues. That has to be your KPI. Quality rejections is again very generic. Make it a KPI, make it a quantitative expression. Make it a quantitative expression. Right? So now the learning you all got is that, remember, when it comes to a KPI, we are always trying to track progress towards a particular objective. Ideally, it has to be quantitative. Ideally, it has to be quantitative. So make sure you have that properly. You have that properly. And the KPIs you propose, KPIs you come up with, should be relevant to the scenario we are discussing. Now we are facing some problems. Delays in delivery, poor quality, delays in production, number of returns. So those are the problems our KPIs should address. That is when the KPI we give is appropriate to the scenario. that's when we can justify it properly, saying, look here, we have these problems, therefore use this KPI to minimize this issue. That has to be our argument, that has to be what we put forward, right? Is everybody clear? Is everybody clear on the two discussions, the events after the reporting period and the KPIs? Everybody clear? Did you learn something? I'm sure now everybody will be making mistakes from mock 2 onwards. That's normal, right? First time we are attempting, first time you are learning. As I told you, try to get your learnings, get the mistakes you do, try to convert them into positives. Learn from them, apply it from the next mock onwards. So you go through a path, you go through a journey of continuous improvement. So that you go through a journey of continuous improvement, right? So I've given you some insights onto the case study and onto how we will go about the course, and also I've taken a sample discussion mode in terms of a sample question, how a mocks would look like, how your exam would look like, just to give you a feel of how it is, of how the exam is, right? So basically those are the key areas I wanted to touch upon in the introductory session, right? So before we conclude, I want you all to have a proper study plan, especially those who are following FLP. Target to complete your FLP modules by the 31st of December, latest by the 7th of Jan, so that you have 1 full month to focus only on the case study, right? You will be given the class schedule with refresh theory sessions and additional sessions. So normally my session I'll be doing Sunday evening, and I will take one weekday evening slot from starting from January. I'll be starting from January 9th. From January 9th, every Thursday I will be taking the weekday evening slot, basically 8:30 to 10:30 p.m. If you all want it to me to further delay, I'm okay, because I know everybody would be coming after work. So that's why I have scheduled it at 8:30 to 10:30 p.m. My weekday session, which I will be starting on January 9th. Every Thursday, the weekday session will go. Our usual class session will be on Sunday, 6:30 to 9, right? Usual class session will be on Sunday, 6:30 to 9. And rest of the schedule in terms of refresh series sessions, then we have a business writing skills workshop where there'll be an experience sharing session as well. So all that will give you a schedule, a timeline. Plus we have planned about 2 hybrid sessions where we will have a physical interaction where you can come to our institute, right? And then we will have a hybrid session, right? So that will be on the 5th and 26th of Jan. As of now, the 2 hybrid sessions are planned for the 5th and 26th of Jan. So if there are any changes, I'll keep you all posted, right? Wednesday is a little bit difficult in terms of scheduling, but let me check. I'm not sure as to how that change could be accommodated. Any specific reason uh, for your request? So others, I hope Thursday is clear, right? Rest of you, don't worry, we are not starting immediately. To be from the 9th of Jan that we will be following the uh, uh, Thursday session. Yes, hybrid sessions again, yes. It will be in class and it will be streamed online as well, and it will be recorded. Don't worry about that. Hybrid sessions currently planned for the 5th of Jan and the 26th of Jan, right? So that's the plan, guys. That's the plan. So I've already given you the critical success factors. Especially this is one very important slide you have to be very clear about. So accordingly, you have to align your things, your expectations, your the work you've got to do, the commitment you've got to put in over the next 6 to 7 weeks. Right? Remember, your exams are starting on the 5th of Feb. So we don't have a lot of time. Start working immediately. Especially, I want you all to focus on the refresh theories, right? We'll be kicking off our F1 refresh theory session on Saturday on 21st. So I want everybody to be a part of it. So get the maximum out of it. So you start refreshing and revising them from tomorrow itself, right? So again, make a note of these critical success factors and the how your case study is structured. That's very important, right? So with that, I'm concluding today's session. So thank you very much for being a part of it. I believe you got at least some insights on what the OCS program is about, what we will do in class, the structure of the exam, the schedules, the critical success factors, the overview of the case study, how is it structured, and your expectations and what we have in store for you. So that's in a nutshell what we covered in today's introductory session. So we'll be kicking off our pre-gym analysis starting from next Sunday, and I hope to see all of you in class. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, yes, please you can WhatsApp me. I'll send in my number as well. Right? You can WhatsApp me and you will get added to the WhatsApp group. We can maintain a conversations there as well. So if you have any queries, any issues, clarifications, please feel free to reach out. So on behalf of Nanaska, I'm hoping to see all of you in class by next Sunday. Thank you and good night. Have a great week ahead. You're welcome. You're welcome, guys. Thanks. Good night.